In the video from November 1st, I mentioned that you can see a flip through of this Ephemera Idea Junk Journal I made for Luise Heinzl for our Ephemera collaboration on Luise's channel on November 29th. Well, surprise! Before I sent it off to Luise, I filmed my own flip through. So now I can share my pages with you, and on November 29th, you can watch Luise's reaction as she unboxes it. Please also check out Luise's flip through of her journal she sent to me, and you can find that video linked below this one in the description box. So these are the journals Luise and I will be using during December 1st to 25th for our Ephemera collaboration, which is a December daily series with lots of ideas on making ephemera using a free prompt list and also a fun freebie. You can find all the details for Ephemera in a short video I posted yesterday, so you can find that video linked below as well. Lastly, I want to just mention that when I recorded this video, I meant it to be a quick silent flip through only. So in order for this commentary to work, I will be freezing the video in certain places where I want to explain more, since I already sent it to Luise and can't film this flip through again. So as you can see on the front cover here, I've added these two butterflies out of the same fabric that I dyed in that video from November 1st. I backed the fabric with some cardstock to make the butterflies more sturdy, and I also sewed through the middle with my sewing machine, and I added feelers made from wire. But she still has enough space on the lower half of the journal to add some ephemera if she wants to during the Ephemera. So there's a close-up. You can see I also added some splatters, and in the back here I had to add a dangle. I wanted to add a few animals since that's what we'll be working with, and I added Scrabble letters with our initials of our first names. And the Ephemera I stamped on canvas and added the year 2022 as well. I used a Tim Holtz clasp for all of those dangles, which I then just attached onto the lace on the spine of the journal. So now looking inside, on the inside cover, you can see on the left, I stamped the hashtag Ephemera, and I added a jeans pocket, which has a printable of Luise's on top, which I printed on canvas. I so loved my jeans journal that I wanted to add some jeans elements to Luise's journal as well. And for the first page of the first signature, I decided to use my favorite junk journal kit of hers, which is the Watching Over You. On the back side, I printed some of my green bubble paper, and I added this very simple belly band from an English children's book, and I just sewed on the top and the bottom to make it look like it was sewed on. On the right side is a page of a magazine onto which I added one of Luise's junk journal quote tickets on a piece of jeans, and on the bottom I added a dried petal of a hydrangea, which I adhered to a piece of fabric which I had stamped on. On the back side, I stamped one of my self-made tree stamps. I embossed it with gold embossing powder and stamped some crackling stamps around it. And on the right side, you see some of my downloads called On My Desk. And by the way, you can find all of the downloads, both Luise's and mine, linked below this video. And also, you can probably see the edges of all of my pages look very grungy. And to accomplish that, I used Luise's method of mass scrunging up your journal pages, which is a super entertaining video where Luise uses hammers and other tools to get that grungy effect, and I will link that video for you down below as well. It's a lot of fun to watch. On the left, I just added some stenciling with Distress Oxide, and on the right you see some paper where I just added some coffee splatters and some watercolor. I believe I have those in my shop as well. And here is another jeans pocket which I grunged up with a little bit of stenciling, and I added some embossing on top of that pocket just by splattering some water and then adding the gold embossing powder on top. This paper is from a secondhand store, and they received it from an old print shop that had closed. And this pocket here is one that I made during last year's Ephemera using my self-made stamps and adding some gold embossed crackling on top. On the right here, we again have one of the downloads from Luise. This one is the Vintage Birds one. On the back side is one of my On My Desk pages, and on the right hand side I attached an envelope which is from my digitals, and I added some stenciling and some splattering, and on the inside I added this original book page of a French children's book. Here I just added a fun embellishment using some of that lace that I dyed in that video from November 1st. And on the right is some more of my green bubble paper. More grunginess on these pages. On the left is a page of Luise's Dragonflies Lover's Notebook kit. And on the right here is a page with a tuck spot made from a children's book image. More bubble paper, another book page with some stamping on fabric. Some beautiful old US ledger paper, my Savannah paper on the right, and this is Luise's beautiful nautical garden papers, onto which I glued a belly band made from a children's book image. On the right we have another pocket made in last year's Ephemera with one of my trees, which I embossed. On the left are Luise's ginkgo leaves. And on the right here is the other half of that bird book page with a fun embellishment with a button. This is the other half of that dragonfly paper. I added this Tim Holtz stamp that says artists with some cheesecloth underneath and a wooden embellishment. On the left is a page of my Dreaming of Summer backgrounds, and on the right you see a skeleton leaf which I added as a tuck spot glued onto some fabric. More beautiful ledger paper, and on the right here I added a pocket that I also made in Ephemera, and I think I added those owls afterwards, which were embossed. This is a pocket made from my boho birds. Beautiful French old book page. This little guy on the right is from my Secret Forest Society kit. And this one on the left is again from Luise's Watching Over You backgrounds. On the right I made a belly band with that beautiful vintage printer paper, added a real feather which I painted with gold. On the left here is the backside of the Secret Forest Society backgrounds, and on the right here I added this little embellishment with a die cut. On the right here is my Savannah kit, and on the left are Luise's Winter Birds. Here we have just some beautiful grungy ledger paper with some more embossing. And wherever I had big tears in my papers, I added some fabric, the one that I used on the cover as well. So you see there on the bottom left page, I have a huge strip of fabric because there was a big tear. This is the backside of my On My Desk ephemera, and on the right you see an original Egyptian document which I brought back from a bank in Egypt. On the right you see a belly band made from a book page, and I added this embellishment I made a really long time ago following a tutorial by Nina Rabina. I love those pops of color, the turquoise and the orange next to each other. On this page I have another large envelope from my kit on which I stenciled and collaged some mushrooms on top from a book. On the right I have a beautiful Hebrew book page which I was sent in Happy Mail. Here on the right, you see another pocket. I think I made this one in Ephemera as well. And here I have another cute embellishment on that Hebrew book page. This is again one of Luise's fun junk journal quote tickets, which I printed on canvas, roughed it up, and adhered it to jeans. This is again from On My Desk Backgrounds and Luise's Vintage Birds on the left. On the right, we have another beautiful skeleton leaf, which I painted in gold and added as a tuck spot. Some more grunginess. On the right, we have a book page of a beautiful Asian book, which I was sent in Happy Mail, and another one of Luise's fun junk journal quote tickets printed on canvas and backed with jeans. This is another children's book page and some beautiful ledger paper with a fun embellishment with a button and a die cut. This is again Luise's nautical garden paper and my On the Desk ephemera. Another fun ticket from Luise on some jeans material. By the way, I bought the jeans material at a flea market. I mean, not the material, I bought actual jeans. Here I made a leaf tuck spot out of packaging paper, sewed around it, added some embossing with gold and a fun button embellishment. On the left is another belly band made out of that same fabric as we have on the cover with one of my self-made tree stamps. On the left is of course one of Luise's dragonfly backgrounds, and inspired by Luise's video where she grunges up her journal pages in bulk, which is linked below, I added some embossing on a lot of these journal pages. Maybe you can see it where my thumb is on the left, also on top there where the dragonflies are, and on the right side next to this little tea packet, which I also made in last year's Ephemera series, and I added this little hand-drawn bird on top and a magnet as a closure. Here you can maybe see that embossing a little bit better. That's just gold embossing powder added on top of water splatters. On the left we have another beautiful page from Luise's Winter Birds, and on the right we have a tuck spot made out of a print on canvas from Luise's The Show Must Go On ephemera, and there I'm showing you again this embossing on the edges. Book page, bubble papers, some more junk journal quote tickets on jeans. This again the Vintage Birds, and this beautiful embossed dragonfly stamp is a very special one because it was custom made for me by a company in Egypt and gifted to me by my friend Eman in Cairo. Hi Eman, thank you again. On the right, I have a double pocket made with my light eco dye papers and transparent paper underneath for the second pocket. Here is a belly band embellished with Tim Holtz leaf dies and a button and some more of that lace that I dyed in that other video, and of course another one of Luise's fun tickets. Here we have another tuck spot made with a stamped leaf on packaging paper, embossed and embellished. And on this last page we have another page from my Secret Forest Society and a jeans pocket with another printable from Luise's The Show Must Go On papers, printed on canvas. And on the bottom there you see my brand label, which I add to all of my handmade journals. So it was a labor of love. It was hard to stop once I started. I really hope Luise likes it, and it was so fun to see both of our papers put together in one journal. I am actually not surprised how well they fit together, but it was a super fun experience to make this, even though I felt a lot of pressure making a journal for Luise. Check out all the links below for the videos and the digitals, and I hope to see you back here on the 29th for the unboxing of Luise's junk journal for me. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!